If you're not getting a check, well, how dare these companies use your original music to train their robots that they're going to use to go get check after check after check after check? Even if, like, you think about it, people pay to use this software. Okay? People are paying to generate these songs, right? And so, and they're running ads on their websites. They're doing deals. There's a monetization factor to any of these AI generation software companies, right? And so that is a huge deal for me personally as a recording artist and anyone who is out here making original music. The idea that you'll make an original song and then that song will be used to train an algorithm that will not benefit you in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it will be competition to you long term makes no sense to me. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Soundwaves Unplugged. Today is a special edition episode because, as you can see, we're not in our normal location. We are at the desk. We are at the desk because we're doing some research. All right. And I want to talk about something in particular that I think if you're in the world of music, you've been paying attention to for quite a while. You've seen a bunch of stories. You've seen a bunch of articles. You've heard about it from your friends. Maybe some of your biggest artists, favorite artists have commented on this, but it's something that affects all of us because it has implications on not just the creative side of music production, but also the business side as well. So today we are taking the time to talk about artificial intelligence in music. And I have a couple interesting stories for you guys today that I think you might find compelling. And I would love to hear what your thoughts are on AI in music and whether or not you think AI belongs in music, if you think it's cheating, if you think it's a tool that can help elevate the art form to higher and higher levels and greater heights. I want to know all of it. All right. So please comment, and let me know where you stand on this whole AI thing. All right. So to get the ball rolling and to get everything started, first and foremost, my name is Aaron Ross. All right. You know me from stuff I do. I'm a musician, started playing piano when I was 4 years old. I did programs at Juilliard when I was in middle school, jazz at Lincoln Center. I played in high school jazz band, and I taught myself guitar. I mean, I've had a musical journey going for a very, very, very long time. And even to this day, I still produce songs, I write songs, and I work with artists on occasion. For those of you who know me personally, I've been kind of knees deep in this whole production company thing I recently launched. So things have been a little out of hand, but music is part of the soul, and I hear it. I hear the music all day, every day. I can't escape it. Ideas constantly flood my brain. And so that's a little bit about me. Obviously, you can find us on YouTube at Mr. Aaron Ross. That's the channel. And we're just so happy to bring this kind of, it's like educational content. But is it educational content? Yes, it's educational content, but it's deeper than that. It's for your soul. All right. It's for your soul. Soundwaves Unplugged is for your soul. All right. Mr. Aaron Ross is for the children. All right. Wu-Tang. All right. So today, without further ado, we're going to go right into our main topic of the day. All right. We're talking about AI and have a very interesting story for you guys from the BBC, all the way across the pond, as they say. And, let's just get right into it because this story is very, very interesting and it's from a little bit earlier in the year. And I'm curious to know what you guys think about it. So Let's go right in. AI claims and a hoax spokesman. Viral band confuses the world of music, by Zoe Kleinman. All right. She's the tech editor at BBC. This is the picture. All right. And we'll talk about that in a second. All right. So let's get right into the article. A band called the Velvet Sundown has had its tracks played hundreds of thousands of times on Spotify since appearing several weeks ago without anyone knowing for sure what it is. The band has had a verified page on the music streaming platform with more than 850,000 monthly listeners. That's crazy. However, none of the four named musicians in the band have given any interviews or appear to have any individual social media accounts, and there are no records of any live performances. It has prompted accusations that they and their music are artificial intelligence generated, something the band denies on social media. It did not respond to the BBC's request for an interview. So already we have mystique, we have intrigue, all right? Because mystery band from out of nowhere, racking up views, and accusations of AI are being denied, but the band's not really being forthcoming with interviews, appearances, responses, anything really. All right, so let's continue. Further confusing the story, Rolling Stone USA reported that the band's spokesman had admitted that the Velvet Sundown's music had been generated using an AI tool called Suno, only for the magazine to report shortly after that the spokesman was himself a hoax. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. The man who goes by the name of Andrew Frelon said it was a deliberate plot to hoax the media. A statement on the band's Spotify page says that the group has no affiliation with this individual nor any evidence confirming their identity or existence. An account on X, which claims to be the band's official channel, is also fake, it added. All right. So that's coming from the band. They say the spokesperson is fake and the official... What is this? The official X account? Fake. All right. Professor Gina Neff from the Minderoo Center for Technology and Democracy at the University of Cambridge says it points to a problem which affects much more than just one band. Whether this is an AI band might not seem important, she told me, but increasingly our collective grip on reality seems shaky. The Velvet Sundown story plays into the fears that we have of losing control of AI and shows how important protecting online information is. All right, next chapter is entitled Theft Dressed as Competition. Interesting. I mean, I'm just going to stop here for a second and just say, what the hell is going on? Seriously, what the hell is going on? If you are familiar with this band, drop a comment. If you know their music, drop a comment. I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later on. I'm definitely curious, but there's a lot of drama in the first 6 sentences of whatever the hell is going on here. All right. And again, we're talking about AI, so let's keep it pushing. The Velvet Sundown's indie ballads with guitar music and male vocals is fairly easy, if not bland, on the ear, with lyrics such as eyes like film and faded light, dreams walk barefoot into the night, and ash and velvet, smoke and flame, calling out in freedom's name. It could all be feasibly either AI generated or penned by humans. Deezer, a rival music streaming platform, a rival to Spotify, of course, said that its AI detector tools had flagged the music as being 100% AI generated. So that's an interesting point. Deezer is out here flagging them. All right. So if you're AI in it, if you're Timbaland out here just doing whatever, Deezer's coming for you. Spotify did not respond to a request for comment. Of course not. Why would Spotify reply to a request for comment? That's not in their best interest, right? Their best interest is just to keep the gravy train rolling. All right. Who cares if it's AI or not? Are you paying that, whatever it is, $10.99 a month? It's whatever it is. It's insane. When you actually think about how much you're spending for music, right? They basically convinced you to buy 12 albums a year at the regular price. So you could just buy 12 albums a year, but you want to listen to infinity music, so we're streaming now, right? This goes way, way, way back. I remember the first company that I ever heard of doing anything like this was Rhapsody back in the day, right? iTunes was the kingpin. They had the monopoly on all of this, but iTunes had some very draconian rules when it came to ownership of the music. I remember one story from iTunes from a long time ago was an elderly man had a massive iTunes library. And this is back when you had to actually pay for every single individual song that was in your iTunes library, whether you were buying a single for 99 cents or $1.99, or you were buying albums for $10 a pop. He had a massive library that was 100% legit, 100% paid for, and he left it in his will to, I think, his grandson. And Apple actually basically confiscated the library. They said, oh, that individual purchased all that music, and he is the only one who is licensed to listen to it. And if he's dead, then his library's dead. Very, very cold kind of case. And so I think stuff like that is how we got here. It's just one of the many, 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 many symptoms and one of the many, many, many reasons why we're where we are today. But of course, Spotify did not respond for a comment on this particular case. Now, CEO Daniel Ek has previously told the BBC that he did not intend to ban AI-generated music from the platform, but added that he did not agree with using the tech to mimic real artists. So that's like the most obvious issue, right? Is if you're going to use AI-generated music to pretend to be somebody else, then you are probably going to get sued. Once they figure out who you are, even if they don't figure out who you are, they're going to put pressure on these platforms and be like, yo, this person is stealing my name, my likeness, and they're using it to generate a profit. Now, the article goes on to say hundreds of musicians have protested about the use of their content in the training of AI tools to create music. That's legit. That's legit. If you're not getting a check, well, how dare these companies use your original music to train their robots that they're going to use to go get check after check after check after check? Even if, like, you think about it, people pay to use this software. Okay? People are paying to generate these songs, right? And so, and they're running ads on their websites, they're doing deals, there's a monetization factor to any of these AI generation software companies, right? And so that is a huge deal for me personally as a recording artist and anyone who is out here making original music. The idea that you'll make an original song and then that song will be used to train an algorithm that will not benefit you in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it will be competition to you long term makes no sense to me. I feel a class action lawsuit on the way long term. This is not going to be like now, but you're going to see like a commercial in five years that's going to be like, did you release music in 2015 to 2025 and your music was used to train an AI algorithm? You may be entitled to money today. That's what we're going to see. All right. Sir Elton John and Dua Lipa joined many members of the House of Lords in fighting for the UK government to include AI and copyright in a new set of laws regarding data use and access. Their campaign was ultimately unsuccessful. Interesting. The government says it's carrying out a separate consultation about AI and copyright. Ed Newton-Rex, founder of Fairly Trained, which campaigns for AI firms to respect creators' rights, said the questions around the Velvet Sundown bore out musicians' concerns. This is exactly what artists have been worried about. It's theft dressed up as competition, he said. AI companies steal artists' work to build their products, then flood the market with knockoffs, meaning less money goes to human musicians. Sophie Jones, chief strategist officer at BPI, said it illustrated the need for government action. This discussion reinforces many of the concerns raised by the music industry and the artist community in recent months on the critical issues of AI and music rights. So, what does this mean? What does it mean? I think it means something fairly important. It means that government response is always going to be after the fact, right? The will of the government is always the slowest, right? The private sector is the one that's pushing the boundaries and creating the conversation about these things. And it's just, I don't know. Let me know your opinion. Leave a comment, leave a like, share, start a discussion with your friends, and like, let's figure out, where does the actual artist community stand on all of this AI stuff? I think it's pretty cut and dry that if you're going to use original compositions to train an AI algorithm, you should be compensating the originators of those compositions in some way, shape, or form. I mean, that's like an immediate, we can fix that. We don't need to beat around the bush. We don't need to pretend this and act this. We can do that today. That's insane to me. That's insane to me. And it kind of gets to the heart of the whole like thing with ChatGPT and Grok and what Google Gemini. It's like, okay, how did they train their algorithm? They basically downloaded the internet and just used it in violation of every copyright law ever, because these are for-profit companies that are basically stealing IP. I mean, you know, some people in the government complain about China, right? Stealing IP of Western companies and making knockoffs and flooding the market. This is the digital version of the same thing. They're stealing intellectual property. They're making knockoffs. They're flooding the market with knockoffs, making it harder for original artists to cut through the noise. And you're the one that's making your music, and you're the one that's funding it, and you're the one that's paying for every little detail of how it gets released and the videos. And it's very expensive to be a human being. It's very cheap to be a robot. All right. So with that said, I'm a little bit curious. I wanna do a little bit more. I want to do a little bit more research here. So what do they call it? The Velvet Sundown. All right, let's look into Dust on the Wind. It's so funny. There is a YouTube video that is entitled "This AI Band Sounds Too Good to Be Real." And it's YouTube, Touch Technology Review is the channel. And when you do like all right, let me put this back on the screen. When you do like a quick Google search, it's basically saying like, and I'll zoom in for you guys. It's basically saying this whole thing is AI generated. I mean, Reddit, AI generated psych rock band, right? The AI band controversy explained, right? They have an Instagram, AI quote unquote band. The Velvet Sundown officially admits they're AI. All right, Rolling Stone, let's go for it. Let's go for it. We're not supporting the Rolling Stone today. Sorry, guys. We got bills to pay that are much more important. Oh, so this is the article. Okay, so the article that we read was on July 3rd. Okay, so this is July 5th. This is 2 days later. All right, so here we are 2 days later. This is actually kind of crazy, guys. The AI band, the Velvet Sundown, who currently have over 900,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, have officially admitted in a new revision to their Spotify bio what was obvious to experts and non-experts alike. Their music is, in fact, AI generated. The Velvet Sundown is a synthetic music project guided by human creative direction and composed, voiced, and visualized with the support of artificial intelligence, the band bio now reads. This isn't a trick, it's a mirror, an ongoing artistic provocation designed to challenge the boundaries of authorship, identity, and the future of music itself in the age of AI. The band, quote unquote, went viral and attracted extensive media coverage after emerging out of nowhere in June and appearing on popular Spotify playlists. They also inspired an apparent hoaxer using the name Andrew Frelin, who now says he impersonated the band on X and falsely claimed to be a spokesperson for the band in interactions with the media, including a phone interview with Rolling Stone. His elaborate days-long hoax was aimed at testing the media, he claimed in a lengthy post. Wow. Can we wow that? Can we wow? Can we wow? Can we wow that? That's insane. That's actually insane. The Spotify bio goes on to say, all characters, stories, music, voices, and lyrics are original creations generated with the assistance of artificial intelligence tools employed as creative instruments. Any resemblance to actual places, events, or persons, living or deceased, is purely coincidental and unintentional, not quite human, not quite machine. The Velvet Sundown lives somewhere in between. Very interesting rhyme. I think this is like problematic on so many levels. This is problematic on so many levels. Okay. I want to break it down to you because we've had bands in the past that were these like concept bands, right? I think the best example of it is Gorillaz, right? But Gorillaz was a real band. Just because they visually presented as anime characters, right? Doesn't take away from the fact that every instrument, every sound, every vocal, every lyric was human generated the entire way through. This is before AI, and they were making hits, some of the biggest hits ever, right? The fine line that these guys are trying to draw with the Velvet Sundown is they're basically trying to weave that line of, well, this is, it's human generated-esque, but they can't deny the fact that they were totally comfortable pretending that they were fully a real band. I mean, you got to see this. You got to see this because let's go back to the first. Look at this. Look at this. All right. This is the photograph of the band. Now, anyone who's been on ChatGPT, Midjourney, Gemini, Grok, any of the big AI platforms and generated any kind of images using AI can tell you in 2 seconds, this is an AI generated image. There's certain key features that let you know it's kind of like obviously fake. That's the crazy thing about this photo. I'll full screen it for you. It is obviously fake. This is an obviously fake photo. And they denied it. They denied it. So what we have here with the Velvet Sundown is a clear case of, having an mildly interesting reason for utilizing AI and kind of like a social experiment to create something that you think is cool, right? I can get that to a degree, right? But the denial of fact over and over and over again until they were basically forced to be exposed is a testament to the real fear that artists and musicians have when it comes to this AI generated content, that people are going to make AI content. They're going to hide behind the AI generated content, claim it's real. And then what are you going to do about it? Right? You're the one that has to prove that it's false. Right? And I think that's crazy unfortunate. And honestly, I'm not with it. I'm not with it at all. I think if you can't play an instrument, if you can't sing a note, if you can't, I don't know, if you don't even have the ear to put the right people together in the right room to make something, if you can't even understand the fundamentals of music and you're relying on machinery, and even if you can and you're relying on machinery but you're doing it in a deceptive way, you have no place in my studio, that's for sure. And I'm going to take a hard line on this, because at the end of the day, we are all we have as human beings. The AI revolution can only consume us if we let it consume us. And I don't care how useful some of these tools can be. I'll give you an example of a useful AI tool for legitimate musicians, legitimate artists out there. They have these AI tools that allow you to separate the stems from a pre-recorded track. Interesting, cool, valid. I respect it, right? Because people lose hard drives all the time. There's so much amazing music that gets caught in the logistics of technology, as far as like hard drive management and like, you know, people losing access to computers, or they didn't save a thing, or this, that, and the third, and maybe they just have a demo, right? You got the demo. AI lets you separate the stems, which gives you a chance to remix the song, to mix the song down properly, to get it mastered. All right, cool. I respect all that. But using AI to generate the song itself and lying about it, that's never going to fly with me. And honestly, I hope it doesn't fly with you guys out there either, because here at Soundwaves Unplugged, we do profiles on the most legendary musicians ever. We do profiles on the most revolutionary inventions in music technology. And that's not something that I think benefits humanity. Lies, deception, that's not good, right? Didn't your mama tell you not to lie? So here we are in 2025, trying to figure out who's telling us the truth. And with that said, thank you so much for tuning in to this segment of Soundwaves Unplugged, Research Edition, or whatever we feel like calling it. I just wanted to call this out, and I wanted to have a real discussion about this. So until next time, stay unplugged.